Hi there, very good morning to all our viewers. Welcome to Hot Stocks right here on ET9, the Mumbai News Center. I'm Sanvi.
And I'm Ajay Sharma. Well, the markets are taking a bit of a breather today after yesterday's last hour rally and about a 10-point cut on the Nifty. Premium is around 13 points on the Nifty, so still maintaining some of the long positions because Nifty is firmly above the 5400 mark. But of course, it is a bit of a breather, no doubt. After scaling 5-month high levels yesterday, 5400 was easily taken out. So even maintaining ground above 5400 should be seen as a positive, at least despite lackluster global cues. The first hour of trade, we have actually maintained the gains which we made in the last hour of trade. Take a look at the constituents of the trade, the Nifty gainers. A lot of advanced decline ratios clearly in favor of advances, about 7 stocks gaining to every 5 declining. And if you look at the Sensex or the Nifty gainers, you would see some of the pharma names and the auto names actually providing a lot of a push over there. So Tata Motors, Maruti, both in the green. Dr. Reddy's, Sun Pharma, even Cipla is actually in the green. And of course, some of the odd metal counters, Hindalco after getting a drubbing for their Q1 numbers, and the Odisha plant news also, some bit of short covering happening over there, BHEL, Bajaj Auto. So it's the biggies from the auto space which are actually leading today as well, however small the gains might be. Let's take a look at what are the names in the mid-cap space which are providing some support to the markets. Broader markets also more or less in line with the broader trends, but stock-specific action over there. So Deccan Chronicle, after several weeks of a downside move on their financial issues, is witnessing some amount of buying today, 11.5 rupees, 5% up. Jet Airways and IGL. IGL is doing good, 2% up. Welspun Corp, Petronet, and it will be interesting to watch GAIL as well because gas stocks seem to be doing good. And yesterday we did do a discussion on the gas stocks, and which are witnessing good amount of buying today. So barring GAIL, IGL as well as Petronet Energy doing good, but again very lackluster market, and understandably so, Tanveer, because the last hour of trade yesterday gave us a surprising rally, and of course fire flows are also continuing.
Yeah, and the build up above 5400 continues. If it was a skewed and a very narrow rally in that sense that only the large caps moved, we perhaps wouldn't. I mean, we can take heart from the fact that on day 2 as well, after closing above 5400. We've opened and sustained above that mark for the session. Let's see whether we can actually close out today as well above the 5400 mark, which is a 6-month high really for the index. Let's talk about some brokerage calls this morning then. Stanchart has put an outperformer rating on Amtech Auto. Brokerage has cut price target from about 200 rupees earlier to 182 as it expects company to face testing times ahead. They, in fact, have also factored in the slowdown in India and Europe, and Stanchart has lowered FY13, FY14 earnings estimates by 8% each. Stanchart says that the non-auto business would be the key revenue driver in fiscal 13. Brokerage finds the stock attractive at current valuations. On the other hand, CLSA maintains an outperformer rating on Tata Motors with a price target of 270 rupees. The CLSA feels its risk-reward is favorable at this point. Brokerage believes that the stock price has corrected since April 12th, has priced in the moderating industry growth and lower margin outlook, but has not yet built in any positives from the upcoming new launches.
All right, let's go back to our research desk, and Yatin and Darshan are waiting by. Darshan, come to you first. Out of all the stocks which you have today, Aban Offshore seems to be one stock, and lately we are seeing more up moves in Aban than down moves. After Reliance, ONGC, all of them have lined up big capex plan. What are you hearing today on Aban, and what are the other stocks?
See, I'll start with Aban first, and as you asked, but what we hear from the street and a lot of dealers, and this buzz is going on, that Aban is actually looking to refinance the debt that it has on its book. It's in talks with several bankers, and they're almost what they are planning is currently the cost of capital that they have is to the tune of almost 13%. But what we hear, and this is pure market buzz, is that the cost of debt post this entire restructuring will come down to the levels of 7 to 8%. So on the back of the debt restructuring buzz, Aban is something that dealers are recommending. The next stock is Bharti Airtel, in which Credit Suisse came out with a report today, and they have downgraded the counter to an underperform from a neutral, and the target price has been cut from 260 levels to almost 220 levels. They say despite, the fall that has happened, there is pain still left for the company, and, FY13 will continue to be a challenging year given the fact that, the 2G auctions are still left on the space. So clearly, Bharti Airtel is down in trade today. And the last counter is Pantaloon, in which we hear a very big HNI actually bought in a lot of shares in closing hours yesterday. And he's accumulating much more in trade today. So they are saying that there is one big HNI and a couple of smaller HNIs which is accumulating. So levels of 170 to 175 at least in the next few days is something that they are anticipating for Pantaloon retail.
All right, that's a quick perspective coming in from Darshan on what dealers are recommending this morning. Yatin, what are you picking up from your sources?
Well, Tanveer, as Ajay was mentioning earlier, auto stocks have been finding some favor in today's trading session, especially Tata Motors. And here the buzz in the dealing room is that a big domestic insurance fund is said to be buying nearly 1 million shares from open market, and that could provide some support to the stock in the near term. In fact, dealers are anticipating levels of nearly 260, which is a 10 rupee upside from the current market price this expiry. So in the next 1 week period, possibly there could be some smart gains coming in for Tata Motors is what dealers are believing. Also aviation pack is one sector wherein dealers have turned quite cautious, including most of the street analysts, because given the fact that the jet fuel prices have increased almost 2 times in the last 15 to 20 days, that is a bit, alarming case as far as aviation stocks are concerned, and we have seen a decent amount of rally coming in for SpiceJet as well as Jet Airways post their earnings. But dealers are anticipating some bit of profit booking to come in most of the aviation stocks on the concerns that the jet fuel prices might increase from current levels to the tune of 5 to 7%, and most of the analyst reports early morning suggesting this. So aviation stock is one pack wherein dealers are quite cautious. And HSIL from the mid cap phase, the stock is almost up 7-8% in today's trading session, 6.5% right now. Dealers are hearing the buzz that the company might look at selling its glass container business for a decent valuation, which would also decrease their working capital requirements, and they might sell one of the factories including the business. So there could be some bit of more steam left as far as this stock is concerned, is what dealers are believing. However, the company management was not available for comments.
Right. Thanks for that, Darshan, Yatin. Let's welcome in our guests. Deepak and Prakash both joined us now. Thanks for joining us and good morning to you. Deepak, how are you looking at the rally in auto stocks? Because probably at least first hour of trade today, a lot of support coming in from auto and pharma names. So Maruti, Tata Motors, do you think which one is your best pick right now?
If you want short-term volatility and sharp moves in a quick period of time with a little bit more risk, then it's got to be Tata Motors. Otherwise, I would go for a Mahindra, which has been making a fairly sustained sort of rally well before Tata Motors, but doesn't decline very much. So it's really a choice for traders that way.
Right. Prakash, come to you. What is it that you'll be advising clients at this point in time, given the move above 5,400?
Well, as far as structurally, the market seems to be proceeding towards a target of 5,450. So far, there is no weakness. I would say that 5,400, 5,380 zones. These are strong support zones. The market should be up. So I feel one could play the long side of the market as long as these levels hold.
All right. Prakash, let's shift focus to small cap stock, Cera Sanitaryware. The stock has been making good moves lately. And if you look at the 52-week chart or last 6 month chart, you would see that it has made a 52-week high. And of course, 80% return in the last 1 year. Vidush Somani is the ED of Cera Sanitaryware, joins online from Ahmedabad. Mr. Somani, thanks a lot for joining us on the show. Yesterday, we saw a very sharp up move in your stock. And the block deal data suggests that Ashish Dhawan of ChrysCap, and now of course runs his own investment firm, has picked up 2 lakh shares. What kind of interactions have you had with him? He's been a veteran in the investing space. What's the outlook which you've shared with him?
No, we've had no interactions with any funds or anything of that sort. That is, I think, their own outlook. But I think because of the better results we posted this quarter, people might be encouraged to buy our shares and to trade more in Cera shares.
Mm-hmm. So tell us, what kind of earnings outlook are we talking about for your company for FY13-14? What kind of EPS are you working with?
We're working on absolute margin because earnings per share would not be a correct statement because we might have the number of shares might vary according to year depending on the board resolutions if they want to go in for an ESOP. The correct figure would be an EBITDA margin. We are looking at approximately a 30 to 40% rise in turnover, and similarly we should have about a 30 to 40% rise in margins also.
You're saying that the equity base of the company would not be a fair basis on which to judge the EPS. Are you looking at dilution or any fundraising plans through the equity route?
We are not looking at anything, but these options are always open. So,
well, they're always open. I mean, does that mean a yes? I mean, is there a need for funds right now for growth?
There's no need for funds right now because we have a lot of deposits, fixed deposits and internal accruals of our own. But every year we do come up with some plans, and there's always an option depending on the board what they go in for.
All right, which means you're open to an option, but there's no immediate need for funds. You're also indicating there is scope for margin expansion. What are the drivers of this kind of a margin expansion, and what is your market share right now in the branded sanitary ware space?
Right now in the sanitary ware market we are close to about 22 to 23% margin, and we've undertaken an expansion. We've grown from 2 million pieces to about 2.7 million pieces this year in terms of absolute volume.
All right, Mr. Somani. Right, Mr. Somani. Thanks a lot for joining us on the show. Deepak, have you looked at the chart of Cera's sanitary ware? It's been moving, 80% up move in the last 1 year. The management clearly guiding, that margins would expand, and they are also taking higher capacities going forward. Is the chart factoring in all of that?
Well, it's been a very strong stock. It's bottomed out back in December, whereas so many other stocks bottomed out a little later. And even from December, it had already gone up twice until yesterday's move, and yesterday's move was really an extremely sharp move upwards. So this is a continuing uptrend and a further sort of spurt in price from there. So I would say if somebody is holding the stock, very good, hang on to it. If you want to get in, you really need to wait for a correction. It's just run up a little too much in the last 2 weeks. I'm not so bothered about the move from December, but the last 1 or 2 weeks have been a little too sharp.
All right, let's take a break on that note. On the other side, we'll talk about Indiabulls Group stocks after they got crumbled after the recent report from Veritas. So Avinash Gorakhshekhar would be here, founder and director of Money Investments, and we'll talk about all the 3 Indiabulls real estate stocks.